Hello, Pongo here. I'm going to read you a story this is a book about 101 Dalmatians. A story begins in London, where I lived with my pet, Roger Radcliffe, in a bachelor flat just off Regent's Park. My name's Pongo. I'm the one with the spots. It was a beautiful spring day, and while I sat at the window, my pet made up songs on his piano. What was you? You see, Roger and I were bachelors, which meant that our lives were downright dull. It was plain to see, and my pet needed someone. But if it were left to Roger, we'd be bachelors forever. So then I looked outside and saw a perfect pair heading for the park. I started barking and grabbed my leash. It took Roger a while, but he finally understood, and I wanted to go outside. Once we reached the park, I searched for the lovely Dalmatian and her pet. Suddenly, I spotted them and slowed them down. Ignoring Roger stood near a tree and puffed on his pipe. As usually, it was up to me to do something. I grabbed Roger's hat and dropped it on the bench. Then I turned to look at Roger. When I glanced back, the lovely pair was gone. I refused to give up. First, I let Roger nap on my leash. Then I yanked him down the path after the woman. Thinking quickly, I wrapped up my leash around her legs. My plan worked. Once Roger and the woman untangled themselves, they began laughing, and the beautiful four-legged creature smiled at me. After a few weeks of absolute happiness, Antonita became Roger's bride, and Perdita became mine. For the first 6 months or so, we lived in a small house near the park. Nanny, a wonderful cook and housekeeper, came to live with us. One day I heard Perdita sigh. "Darling," I asked, "are you all right?" Perdita smiled. "Of course, dear. After all, dogs were having puppies long before our time. I don't know who was happier, Nanny or I. But I do not know that all three of us were upset when Antonita's old classmate, Cruella de Vil, stopped by looking for the puppies. It'll be at least 3 weeks, and Antonita told her. Cruella rushed out the door, promising to return then. The 3 weeks passed quickly. Finally, on a stormy night in October, Nanny announced, "The puppies are here, and there are 15 of them," she said excitingly. As we smiled at our new family, cat crackled outside and Krilla swooped into the room. 15 puppies, how marvelous. Then she took a closer look. Why, they don't have any spots. What a horrid little white rats. As I growled at her, Nanny exclaimed, "They'll get their spots, you'll see." "That's right," and Antonita added, "they'll have their spots in a few weeks." Krilla grinned. In that case, I'll take them all. Just name your price." Thankfully, Antonita resisted. "I'm afraid we can't give them." Krilla ignored Antonita and began fiddling with her pen and checkbook as she spluttered ink all over Roger and me. Roger shouted, "We're not selling the puppies, and that's final." "I'll get even. Just wait," Krilla hissed as the stormed out. I found Pernita and the puppies hiding in the broom closet. Purdy, we're keeping the puppies. Every single one of them." "Oh, Pongo," Perdita sighed. Then she was able to rest. As the time passed, Perdita and I forgot all about Cruella de Vil. Instead, we enjoyed watching the puppies grow, and when they become old enough, the puppies especially liked watching the adventures of the brave dog Thunderbolt on television. Whenever the show came on, the puppies crowded around the set. Often they found some unusual places to sit. Every evening, as soon as the show was over, Perdita and I kissed the puppies goodnight. Then, while Nanny tucked them in, we left our walk in the park with Roger and Nita. Never did we think any harm would come to our precious little ones. But one night, as Perdita and I were out with our pets, something terribly happened. Two evil men, tall, thin fellow named Jasper and the short, plump chap called Horace, came to the door. "We're here to inspect the writing and switches, Mum." Jasper said to Nanny. "I don't care what you want to do," Nanny replied. "You're not coming in here." But the two men pushed past her and ran into the house. Nanny cried to stop them, and Jasper locked her in a room upstairs. When Nanny escaped, she ran to the kitchen. The basket to the floor was empty. "The puppies!" she cried. "They took the puppies!" While Nanny hurried to find the police, Cruella slept peacefully in her house across town. Later, I learned that when she awoke to the headline in the morning, 15 puppies stolen. "Thieves, flee!" she chuckled out loud. After Roger and Anita had done everything they could, I said to Perdita, "I'm afraid it's up to us. We'll have to use the Twilight Bark. It's the fastest way to send the news. If our puppies are anywhere in the city, the London dogs will know." The evening, as we stood shivering in the park, I barked as loudly as I could, hoping someone would hear me. Finally, I heard a faint response. "We're in luck. It's a Great Dane, a Humsteed." Then Purdy and I listened as our news was relayed all over London, from the rooftops to the pet shops. All dog alert spread from the city to the country, where a bloodhound named Towser heard it. His friend Lucy asked, "What's going on? What's all the gossip?" Towser muttered, 15 puppies stolen." Fortunately, Towser sent the word along. The colonel and an old English sheepdog, a horse named Captain, and a cat, Sergeant Tibbs, also heard the shocking news. Sergeant Tibbs told the colonel the 2 nights ago he'd heard barking at the old DeVille's place. Sure enough, when the colonel and Sergeant Tibbs investigated, they found our 15 puppies, along 99 puppies trapped in the house with Horace and Jasper. At first, we didn't know about the other puppies. We simply heard that the Great Dane had news, so we escaped through a bedroom window and hurried out to meet him. In the meantime, Cruella drove out to look in Horace and Jasper. Unfortunately, she did not see Sergeant Tibbs spying on them from a window as the cat listened. He almost fainted. Cruella wanted the puppies for her coat, for fur coats. Sergeant Tibbs watched Cruella roar away in her car. Then he sneaked into the house and crept up to the puppies. "You'd better get out of here if you want to save your skins," B whispered. He showed the puppies a hole in the wall, and they began crawling through it, one by one. As the last puppy wriggled through the hole, Jasper whirled around and shouted, "Horace, look, they're gone!" The chase began. Sergeant Tibbs led the puppies down the stairs. Then they hid them beneath the staircase where "Come, the men," the cat whispered. "Shh." The puppies trembled in silence. While Horace and Jasper searched for the puppies, Perdita and I looked for the DeVille place. The Great Dane had given us directions, and after the difficult hike through the countryside, we found the Colonel standing outside the rundown mansion. The Colonel exclaimed, "I'm afraid there's trouble, big hullabaloo." Hearing that, Perdita and I to a window, we could see Horace and Jasper hovering over the puppies, ready to strike. Instantly, we crashed through the crashed through the glass and attacked. In a matter of minutes, we overcame the dog nappers as the men lay dazed and muttering. We took a moment to cuddle our puppies. Then Sergeant Tibbs helped guide us to safety. We followed the puppies outside, and Tibbs, a colonel, took us to a barn. It was then we decided to take the other puppies home with us. Soon afterwards, Captain heard a truck coming. The colonel graciously offered to stay behind to deal with Jasper and Horace. "We'd better run for it," I said. As we dashed across a field, our brave friends did all they could to give us a head start. But the men raced back to their truck and followed our tracks in the snow. I urged Purdy and the puppies to hide under a bridge. We held our breath and didn't move. Luckily, Krilla's henchmen did not see us. We waited until they left, then traveled down the icy creek to avoid leaving any tracks. Just when we couldn't walk under another step, we met up with Coley. We'd just about lost hope. The collie said, we have shelter for you at the dairy farm across the road." As Purdy and I led the tired, cold puppies into the barn, 4 friendly cows gazed at them with concern. Rolly said, "I'm hungry, Mother. I'm hungry. Do they like warm milk?" One of the cows asked Perdita. "Where, Mother?" Rolly cried. Where is it? Another cow smiled. Come and get it. Kids, it's on the house. While the puppies drank the milk, the collie brought Purdy and me some scraps to eat. It's not much, he said, but it'll hold you as far as the Dinsford. There's a Labrador there. His pet is a grocer. As the collie stood watch, we rested for the night, and Purdy and I thanked our hosts and herded the puppies outside. On the way to Dinsford, I heard a car horn honking. Hurry, kids, hurry, I urged, guiding them into the woods. Peering out from behind a tree, I saw Krilla's car screech to a halt. Seconds later, the truck rumbled up. With Horace and Jasper, I heard Krilla shriek. Their tracks are heading straight to the village. We take the side roads. I'll take the main road. After they left, we ran through the woods and met up with the Black Labrador in Dinsford. He hid us in the blacksmith's shop, where I got the brilliant idea of disguising our spots with soot. Soon, we all looked like lovely Black Labradors. Now all we had to do was sneak into the back of the van that was going to London, while Perdita and I took turns leading the puppies outside. Krilla and her henchmen stopped nearby. I held my breath and hoped that they would not notice us. The Labrador helped me to get the rest of the puppies into the van, while the valiant dog fought off Horace and Jasper. I leapt into the black and joined the others. The van took off. Krilla speed off after us, with Horseman Jasper taking another route. At one point, she tried to force our van off the road, but the angry driver managed to stay on the track. Only movie. Moments later, Perdita cried, "Pongo, look!" As Horseman Jasper barreled down a hill. Krilla rammed into the back of the van. The van shot forward, and Jasper's truck swerved out of control, crashing into Krilla's roadster. The three villains flew off the road into a snowbank below. Safe at last, we settled back into the van, and before we knew it, we were back home in London. Roger used his handkerchief to wipe off my face, and Anita used her apron on Perdita. Purdy she exclaimed, "My darling!" With a silly grin, Nanny grabbed a feather duster and began dusting off the puppies. "Here's Patch," she chortled, "and Rolly and Penny and Freckles. They're all here, the little dears." Then Nanny and our pets began counting. When they were done, Roger cried, "There's 101 Dalmatians. Let's keep them all and buy a big place in the country." And that's exactly what they did. The end. The end. I hope you enjoy the story. This is Pongo signing you off.